A pair of legal dramas for the president. First, a federal court is intervening in a dispute between the White House and a journalist over press credentials, and then that long-running Russia investigation where the president is now taking part in something that he has called a hoax and a witch hunt. But now he is complying with a major request from prosecutors. From the Oval Office Friday, President Trump revealed he is personally responding to Russia investigation questions from the special counsel.
I'm working on that. I write the answers. My lawyers don't write answers. I write answers.
He said he'd hand over his responses after his legal team signs off. But the president also accused prosecutors of setting a perjury trap.
Gee, was the weather sunny or was it rainy? He said it may have been a good day. It was rainy, therefore he told a lie. He perjured himself. Okay, so you have to always be careful when you answer questions with people that probably have bad intentions.
Again, insisting he and his campaign did not collude with Russia.
I'm not agitating. It's a hoax.
Mr. Trump said the probe is ultimately about him.
There should have never been a so-called investigation, which in theory it's not an investigation of me. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, I like to take everything personally because you do better that way.
After the White House clash with CNN.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Friday, a federal judge appointed by the president granted a temporary return of a CNN correspondent's press pass, which had been revoked by the White House. The legal battle will continue, but Press Secretary Sarah Sanders issued a statement. Today, the court made clear that there is no absolute First Amendment right to access the White House. The president said he wants new standards for press conferences.
Decorum. You can't take 3 questions and 4 questions and just stand up and not sit down. Decorum.
And Kelly, President Trump's appointment of Matt Whitaker as his acting attorney general. Whitaker still facing fierce criticism this morning. It's also now facing a formal legal challenge. What is the argument in that case?
Well, Whitaker has not been confirmed by the Senate for this position, even the acting role as Attorney General, and that is a real core of the debate. And in a kind of a new twist on how to challenge this, an existing lawsuit that bears the name of Jeff Sessions, who of course was forced out as Attorney General, is asking that the Supreme Court put Rod Rosenstein's name on that document, the Deputy Attorney General, who would normally move up in the ranks, and to say that it is not legal to put Whitaker in place because he was not confirmed. And so going about this to ask the court to weigh in on something by using an existing case and to say Whitaker does not have the legal standing to be the acting attorney general. The White House says the appointment is appropriate, but this is going to continue to be a legal fight.
Yeah,
Peter?
for sure, the concern among critics that they're trying to rein in the Mueller probe by hiring Whitaker. Kelly O'Donnell at the White House. Kelly, thank you.